What is going on, everybody? Love it, love it. We're on episode 62, and we got to talk about Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. It is official for December 9th. Let's go ahead and switch over. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for coming to episode 62 of Boxing Fanatico Live. We are still going strong. We are still going hard on the live episodes, trying to get to that 100, episode 100. We want 3 digits up there on that title. But of course, starting the show all the time, this man without fail, Hashim47, the legend, Hashim47 with the Let's Go champ. And of course, we always got to start off the show. You know what I'm saying? We always got to start off the show with a Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen,
let's get ready to rumble is right. Let's see what you guys have to say tonight. I love rhyming, you know what I'm saying? I'm freestyling when I get on here. ASAP TV, we here. Adrian Dones, what's up, Fanatico? Salute, chat. The King Juice here. Easy fight for Devin. Oh, my man said easy fight for Devin. I agree. I agree. I think Devin Haney should have went the route of the Teofimo Lopez fight, but I think we about to get a Teofimo Lopez versus Tank Davis fight. It probably early next year, considering that Tank has already tweeted that he's not fighting this year, but he will be locking back in early next year. David Morales, what is going on? Oh, I was watching some of the live stream from before, and I noticed Mr. Nobody put a $10 super chat in, and I didn't hit him with the $10 super chat in the celebration. So I don't know if you hear Mr. Nobody or if you will watch this again, but let me hit you with the $10 super chat. A celebration video for the $10 super chat, because I unfortunately my bad, I forgot about it. So let's play it right now. Oh, and we got Jay Shep in the house. Jay Shep, as I was talking about that one, let me give it a heart. As I was talking about that one, we got Jay Shep in the house with a $5 super chat. Let's do the $5 super chat right quick.
He has done it from time to time. Just hasn't been
Big Z Biggs, Fanatico, what's up, bro? What's going on, brother? What's going on? So, by the way, guys, if y'all didn't know, I was live streaming yesterday. I was live streaming some matches, trying to get to Masters on Street Fighter 6. I've actually been giving it a good go, right? Putting my head down, actually working really hard in the game. Cool fact on Street Fighter 6. By the way, I'm almost at Diamond 4. So yesterday I was Diamond 2, but I'm almost at Diamond 4. Oh, Adrian Dones. Hold on. Adrian Dones coming in strong. I got to give that a heart, too. Got to give that a heart. Adrian Dones hit us with another one. Okay. We do this easy. It's easy for us.
From time to time.
It's easy. Hey! I love the chaos. The chaos. Ah! I love that. That's like that. I live for that type of energy in boxing when we get those knockouts. So fun fact. I'm killing it. I think I went on a 10-game winning streak. I'm going crazy, playing out of my mind. Guess what? I ran into Punk the God. Yes, the dude that got in like 3rd place at the recent tournament. The dude that got like he was top 8 in every tournament. My man was like top 3, like in the $1 million tournament. The dude is going crazy, and he was using Aki because Aki just came out. He was on a 26 win streak. I'm just waiting for his live to end so I could clip the fight. I got a round. I didn't win, but I got a round on Punk the God. That's why I got a round on Punk the God with my Rashid main, and I'm just so hyped that I was able to do that. I don't even care that I lost. I'm just happy that I got the round on him. So once he finishes live streaming, because this dude been live, it almost feel like he's been live streaming for 24 hours. I'll be able to go back on the VOD and clip it and take it out and post it on Twitter, right? Or X. So you guys could see. But yes, I'm definitely getting better at the game. I'm going to be doing local tournaments too. I'm already registered for some local tournaments. But yeah, I'm actually giving this game a go. I'm loving it. I'm liking it. I'm getting good day by day from a complete novice, not playing Street Fighters and Street Fighter 2 as a little kid, not even really paying attention to none of that stuff, to like doing locals and almost gonna be master ranked, which is like 1% of the entire, or less than 1% of the entire player base on Street Fighter 6. So we killing it on there. Hold on. Is this the Zone pay-per-view? We got to talk about that too, because it is the Zone pay-per-view, and I think it's going to be around $85 on the Zone. Now, one of the things that is a little bit annoying about the Zone is that they're the double dipping kings. And actually, if you really think about it, the Zone is the triple dipping kings, because not only does the Zone get your membership, your subscription, which is pricey, in comparison to all the other ones that give you way more value for your money. For example, sure, we like boxing, right? But all boxing is not on the Zone, right? If you're paying whatever it is for Netflix, I think it's like $12 or $14. I don't know what Netflix is, but let's say Netflix is $12. You're getting a bunch of shows, like crazy series and marathons that you're not watching something once every 3 months, every 4 months. You're watching crazy amounts of shows. It's almost limitless content. You're always finding something. And if you find a show, now you binge watching a whole series. So the value proposition for Netflix is just amazing, right? $12, whatever it is, and infinite content, just infinite, right? Even HBO Max, right? You got all these different shows. Disney Plus, you get the movies, and you know the movies are coming. So there's so much value in it. The Zone, the only reason people got the Zone is because people like boxing. People ain't getting the Zone for all the other stuff. But then you got the Zone, and it don't got the Showtime boxing. It don't got when PBC fight. It don't got when Top Rank fight. It only has when Golden Boy Promotion fights, and then when they do the Misfits fights. That's all it has. So you're paying $20. You're basically giving them $20 for free. For every fight, you're essentially paying $20 times 12. It's crazy. And then you pay for the pay-per-view, and then they have ads inside of the fight. So it's like, oh my goodness, the triple dipping is insane. And then because the way the pay-per-view model works, they never want you to go backwards. They never want you to go backwards. So what does that mean? If you do pay-per-view once, you got to keep doing pay-per-view. Because if you don't do pay-per-view anymore, you're going backwards. That's why it's very dangerous when you step into the pay-per-view realm. You got to make sure that the first time you step into pay-per-view, you're ready for pay-per-view. Because if you're not, you're going backwards. And that's what happened with Devin Haney. He doesn't want to go backwards, so now it's pay-per-view. I'm going to be very curious to see how well this pay-per-view does. I can't imagine that it will do a good numbers, but let's see. Because once again, they don't like to triple dip. They on the triple dipping out here. $85 pass, yeah, I think, plus the $20 a month. So it's basically $100. It's basically a $100 pay-per-view. I pay $20 a month. Yeah, bro, $20 a month for the Zone. The value of that is so low. It's because we're boxing fans that we just bite the bullet. But the value, I only use the Zone once every 5 months. Whenever there's a fight, that's it. And whenever there's a fight on the Zone, it got to be on the Zone, because I'll watch a fight on Showtime pay-per-view. I'll watch a fight on Showtime. I'll watch a fight on ESPN. It has to be on the Zone for me. Basically, I'm paying for Misfits boxing. That's what I'm paying for. I'm paying for Misfits boxing, and every once in a while, we get real boxing on there. Yeah, man. Our whole lives revolve around ads and charging electronics. Shaking my head. Yeah, man. I mean, the thing with it is that they're trying to make money, right? They want to make money, but they were positioning themselves when they were trying to get that initial download install base. They were positioning themselves as the anti-pay-per-view. Like, now you just pay this monthly fee and you get pay-per-view type fights for free, basically, with the monthly fee. But that ain't happening. That ain't happening anymore. They said, screw that. We need to make more money. Now we need the pay-per-view model to be the same, and we still gonna charge them monthly. It's like, damn, the zone, why you gotta triple dip? On top of all that, you're gonna put the ads too, man. We can't even have it ad-free. At least the pay-per-views should be ad-free. But it ain't. The pay-per-views, the pay-per-views is also with ads, which is crazy to me. I saw Tio versus Taylor on ESPN Plus for $10, $85 for that. Yeah, man. Yeah, see, Tio versus Taylor for $10 on ESPN Plus. That's another one, man. ESPN Plus, man. At least the value's a little bit better with ESPN Plus because they got other content that is appealing, like the 30 for 30s and the sports and stuff in there. But the zone is strictly boxing, and then it's like, you're really paying for Golden Boy Promotions. That's what you're paying for, Golden Boy Promotions. I hate the DAZN, and after every pay-per-view, I say I'm canceling it, but then I stay. I'm in a toxic relationship with DAZN. Yo, bro, I don't ever cancel it because, one, it's kind of my thing, right? I talk about boxing, so I have to have all channels available to me, ESPN Plus, DAZN, pay-per-views and all that stuff. So all those things got to be open to me, so I'm never contemplating canceling them. But I definitely understand from the outside looking in, anybody using DAZN would think logically, like, there's no point in me, like, it makes sense to cancel DAZN and resubscribe every time there's a fight that you want to watch and then cancel it again. It makes more sense that way, but it is what it is. I haven't renewed DAZN since they brought back pay-per-views. Wow. So how'd you watch so you watched the Ryan Garcia and Tank on Showtime pay-per-view? I'm guessing. They have old fights on DAZN, but you can view all of them on YouTube. Yeah, that's the thing that they have. I think that they bought the HBO catalog. So the HBO catalog is basically in DAZN, which is not bad. It's not bad. That's decent, but it's still fights you've seen already. I've seen these fights already. So it's not like I'm getting anything new. It's just, if I want to go back and watch stuff from the past, like, that's the only value that I'm seeing from that. I got ESPN Plus. ESPN also has UFC if you're an MMA fan. Yeah, that's true. It does have UFC, so that brings a little bit more value for a lot less, half the price. And ESPN Plus to me is just much, like, it's a better place to be because there's more things there. There's more things. Even if you didn't think about the UFC, there's more things there. There's all the sports or sports or whatever. It's all in ESPN Plus. So I don't know, man. DAZN is like, I think DAZN has the worst value proposition in my opinion. You don't get the pay-per-views for free. Like, they should make it where you could have a premium subscription or you can have a free subscription. But if you have the free subscription, you are limited to like monthly stuff that you can watch. And you have to pay for the pay-per-views. But the people that pay monthly get everything. They got the premium edition, and it comes with the DAZN pay-per-view and all that stuff. I think that's the best way to do it. Let everybody be in there for free, but only the premium payers or the people that are paying premium get everything you have for free. While the people that are in there for free, that are not paying, they get the light experience where there's monthly free stuff to watch monthly, and there's the fights that aren't pay-per-view, but the fights that are pay-per-view, it's free. It's free for the premium, and they gotta pay the full pay-per-view price. Not paying for Haney fight versus Regis, I refuse to. Yeah, that one's a hard sell. I don't know, man. That's one of the hardest pay-per-view sells in recent time, in my opinion. One of the hardest pay-per-view sells. I think the Shakur fight is going to be better than the Devin Haney fight. Yeah, it is. The Shakur, no, I don't know. It's going to be more interesting to me. But Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis might be a little bit more competitive because Shakur is probably going to smoke De Los Santos. Even though De Los Santos is a hard-hitting, hard puncher and a slick, hard puncher. He's a slick fighter that's a hard puncher. It's going to be it's gonna be a little bit of a easier time for Shakur. Shakur's gonna have an easy time. I think Devin Haney is going to dominate the fight, but he's not going to dominate the way Shakur is going to dominate, right? Shakur be dominated on another level where you just don't touch him. With Devin Haney, I think what's going to happen is he's going to outbox Regis. Regis is a good technical boxer, but he likes to get into scraps. And if you're kind of avoiding him, if you're moving around, it's hard for him when he's chasing you. I think he prefers the one-on-one where you're up against him and he's picking his shots. He's good at picking his shots and figuring out, the combinations and where to place his shots, but it's hard for him to chase fighters. And Devin Haney will just be using his jab all night and keeping him at a distance, kind of moving around him. It's going to be a much tougher. It's going to be a tough thing for Regis Prograis. I think it's going to be even a tougher fight for him than the fight that he had with Josh Taylor. So I'm definitely predicting that Devin Haney will win that fight. But we have an amazing fight this week, though. We got an amazing fight on Saturday this week, and that's Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo. Although it doesn't have the buzz it should have. Or that it should be having. It is a big fight, and I cannot wait. I think I'm going to go over to my friend's house to watch it because, I normally watch it here, but we trying to switch it up. So we'll see. I unfortunately, I won't be able to commentate the fight. But I will definitely try my best to commentate the Logan Paul fight and also Shakur Stevenson fight. I'm going to try to commentate that one. And I'm going to try to commentate the Devin Haney fight as well today. So if you guys, that one's probably the best one to commentate because people are not going to try to, watch that one. So maybe this is a way that you could watch it. You could watch it vicariously through this channel. ESPN Plus is how I watch Teal versus Taylor. Mainly use it for NBA season though. See, there's other things that's value right there. There's other things attached to it, but when it comes to DAZN, it's just boxing. Like no one's kidding themselves. No one's watching DAZN for bare knuckles fighting, right? Bare knuckles fighting is something you watch highlights on YouTube. Like let's be real, nobody watches bare knuckles fighting. Nobody actually watches it. You watch that. The highlight reels. That's what people do on that. King Juice. Some of the UK cards aren't even on there. LOL. I didn't know Joyce fought last week. Yes, Joyce fought last week. But to watch that fight, ESPN Plus had the rights to that one. But it was a DAZN fight, but it was only DAZN in the UK. So you had to watch Joyce on ESPN Plus. Because the American sometimes, and one thing that's annoying is that the UK be getting everything, man. Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis will be free in the UK. It's only $84.99 or whatever, $84.99 here in the United States, but it's free. It's free in the UK. That's wild to me. That is wild. Imagine NFL Sunday tickets advertise you get all games, then a year in they say, oh, you only get games on the East Coast. Sorry, customers. We know we lied, but oh. But the way they did, I think what they did was that it was in good faith. They wanted to do that, but then the business model didn't have enough legs behind it, right? And I think in their mind, they're like, okay, we could bite the bullet because we built a viewer base, and we'll rock off of this viewer base and just transition over to DAZN pay-per-view. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And the thing is, if it's a fight you want to watch, you have to watch it on DAZN. If it's a fight you want to see, it has to be on DAZN because there ain't going to be nowhere else. Where else you going to watch it? You got to watch it on DAZN because it's only there. That's the thing. It's like you're trapped by that possibility that a fight that you really care about will eventually be on that app. So it's like, damn, man, how does like how do you like? And if you're a boxing fan, you want to watch everything. Like I want to watch everything, man. That's the thing that that gets me, is that I want to watch everything, even knowing that the value, like I'm being screwed. But there's nothing that you could do. Y'all ready for Gervonta Davis versus Inoue? I don't think Gervonta Davis is fighting Inoue. I don't think he is. If he is fighting, no, Inoue, no, because Inoue has a fight lined up with what's this dude's name? Topolis. He has a fight lined up with Topolis. He ain't fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. And Gervonta Tank Davis said that he'll see us at the beginning of the year 2024. My prediction is that he will be fighting Teofimo Lopez using the process of elimination, because people got fights. Although if he's fighting at the beginning of next year, it does open up the possibility that he fights these other guys like a Shakur early next year. But I highly doubt that they're trying to put him in there with a Shakur Stevenson. What I think is happening is that they're trying to put him in there with Teofimo Lopez. And he's probably going to be fighting for the title. And that opens him up to fight a fight with Devin Haney. So he could have a good string of really popular pay-per-view events moving forward, if that's what he's doing. They're talking about it being a huge fight, a big fight, and everything like that. So if it's a huge fight, big fight, and using the process of elimination, I would say that, and knowing that Inoue still got that fight to become undisputed, he wants to be multiple division undisputed, I think that he's going to be fighting Teofimo. And King of 47 said maybe Lomachenko. That's another person that I have there. Of the two people that I think that it will be, it's Teofimo as the front runner and then Lomachenko as the backup person. That's how I see it. Teofimo, then Lomachenko. If it's Lomachenko, technically, it'll be a bigger fight if it's Lomachenko and not Teofimo. However, for the boxing fans, Teofimo is a bigger fight because Teofimo has won the title. Teofimo is a WBO champion. I think that that's just a much bigger fight in my opinion, especially after his performance. He's coming out of a winning performance, beating an undefeated Josh Taylor, who Josh Taylor's resume is lit. So for him to be an undefeated Josh Taylor, that's fire. So I think that that's a big fight. But I don't know how big that is with the casual market. It might be that Lomachenko is a bigger fight with the casual market. Now, if it is Lomachenko, that also kind of feels a little sour in the sense that he didn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. But it's business. This is prize fighting. So I understand that Lomachenko wants to get that big. Like, you don't say no to a big fight. Like, you just don't say no. A big fight is a big fight is a big fight. You're not going to say no to a big fight. So I completely understand. Lomachenko wanting that fight against Tank versus having to fight with Shakur Stevenson. That I completely understand. Hold on, I just lost the chat. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Devin going to jab, and if it gets sticky, he's going to stifle Regis with clinching. Devin going to jab, and if it gets sticky, yeah. I mean, that's a smart tactic, though. I never take that away from a fighter who's able to keep somebody at a distance, and when somebody comes in and closes in the fight and gets the fight in close, that you tie them up, right? It's really up to the discretion of the referee in terms of how effective that strategy is going to be, and how much they let you do it. If you do it well and you do it really smart, where you're not constantly doing it, but you're spacing it out and you're timing and you're using other means of egress other than just just going straight in. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. All right. Just needed to stop that sound from happening. All right. And yeah, so then it becomes it becomes King Juice knows. It becomes one of those smart tactics that actually work in your favor. Floyd Mayweather did that effectively against Manny Pacquiao. Even though a lot of people say, "Oh, all he was doing was hugging," he wasn't hugging at every encounter when things got close. He was clinching him up and locking him up when things got dicey, as King Juice says, or sticky. Rashid, Inoue too small right now. Not a good idea at this current moment. Yeah, he's definitely too small. I know, Rashid, just trolling a bit. Okay. I'm not feeling the buzz for this fight, which is a shame since it's undisputed versus undisputed. Yeah, I know. Because when it's all said and done, the business of boxing, it does hold true. It does hold true that the belts don't matter, right? In the sense that if you're trying to make money, the belts really don't matter. Tank is probably the face of boxing, and he doesn't have an official belt. He hasn't had an official belt in a long time. And I know it's debatable that he's not the face yet, right? Because Canelo, I suspect that he is the face, like in a head-to-head. If, for example, Canelo and Tank were to go head-to-head on pay-per-view, and Canelo had a dance partner and Tank had a dance partner. For example, let's put it like this. If Canelo went against David Benavidez on September 14th of next year, and Tank on that same day went against Lomachenko, right? Tank would make more would do better on pay-per-view than Canelo Alvarez. Just reading the temperature of where we are right now and how they're doing, Tank would get more pay-per-views with a Lomachenko fight than Canelo would against David Benavidez. So if that is the case, then we have to start looking at Tank as the face of boxing. Now, I know that a lot of people take that, the face of boxing means that you the champ and you've done this and you've done that. I'm not looking at it in that sense. I'm looking at it as the face being the marketable face. Who is the marketable face of boxing? If we want to talk about who the face of boxing is in terms of who's the best, that's the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, Terrence Crawford. Because he got everything. He got it all, right? He has 2 undisputed championships in the 4-belt era, right? Canelo only has 1 undisputed championship in the 4-belt era, but he has multiple divisions, much more than Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford is the number one pound for pound. So Terrence Crawford technically is the face of boxing. So Canelo wouldn't even be the face of boxing in that instance when it comes to who's the better fighter, who's the number one fighter. But in terms of who's the number one marketable fighter, I do think that Tank is the new face of boxing. I think that Tank is the new face of boxing, in my opinion. You'll be on Twitter when Canelo fights? Yeah, I will be on Twitter tweeting every round like I normally do for the super big fights like this. I'll be tweeting every round, giving my quick snap analysis because I got to tweet mad fast because I only be having a minute before the next round starts. So yeah, I will be on Twitter tweeting. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, the link is down in the comment section below. Also hit the likes, guys. We got a bunch of you in here, but we only got a few likes. Hit the like. I'm gonna hit you out with the Michael Buffer real quick for the likes. Get them likes up. Come on now. It's just a quick little click. It's free. It's free, guys. It's free. It don't cost nothing. It don't cost a thing. Get them likes up. I'm looking at it. Okay, it's climbing a little bit now. All right, good. Thank you. Official prediction for Canelo versus Jamel. Official prediction is that Canelo will win. I think he's going to win by knockout. But I'm going to go with the safer. He's going to win by decision. But I can foresee a knockout. My prediction is that Canelo will win, but I can foresee a knockout because the thing with Jermell is very skilled. He's highly skilled. His punch placement is actually magnificent. He can hit you with an uppercut from a position where you shouldn't be able to land it, and with confidence land it with a lot of force behind it, right? With a lot of torque, and just basically just outsmarted you and landed that punch. However, the problem with Jermell is that he tends to have firefights here and there. He's one of those people that can get like caught up in the frenzy of the fight, and that can work against him. He's also a little cagey at times, and that could also work against him because you don't want to be cagey when you're fighting a Canelo Alvarez, who's basically this come forward fighter. Canelo likes to be in the pocket, and that's where he does his best work, especially since his legs are not. Canelo doesn't have really good legs, but he has really good elite upper body movement. Jermell likes to be in the pocket as well. But I think that Canelo is better in the pocket. So now here comes the rock and the hard place, right? So what does Jermell do? Does he go in the pocket where he likes to be because Canelo is, even though Canelo is better at being in the pocket, or does he shy away from being in the pocket because Canelo likes to do that, but now he's in a position that he doesn't like to be in? Canelo might be able to effectively cut off the ring, effectively get him on the ropes, and then you're in danger zone against Canelo if you're stuck on the ropes. We've seen that happen with his fight with Castellano, I think, where he was getting caught up on the ropes with Castellano. So he likes to be on that inside. When he beat Castellano in the rematch, it was more of him controlling that inside game. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with his strategy, but I think no matter what he brings to the table, I don't think he's going to have enough for Canelo. I do understand that weight doesn't really matter in the sense of skills matter, but when there's a lot of skill and maybe a little bit more skill than what you have and you're going up in weight, that's the double whammy. With Terrence Crawford, I think if Terrence Crawford was to go up and fight Canelo, he would do really good against Canelo because his skill supersedes, in my opinion, Canelo's skill. And that will allow him to overcome the weight difference or the jump in weight that he has to do against Canelo. But I do believe that Canelo will win against Jermell Charlo. If Jermell Charlo beats Canelo, that will be an amazing upset. I don't think it will. He could become an overnight sensation. That is possible. He could become an overnight sensation, and he becomes an overnight, because Terrence Crawford became an overnight sensation by beating Canelo, by beating Errol Spence. Imagine what happens if you beat Canelo by jumping up, 2 weight classes. This is really a lose-lose for Canelo. No matter what happens, Canelo's not going to come out on the other side looking any better. The only thing he could do is look worse, or nothing is changed, right? People start criticizing the fact that he fought somebody 2 weights below him, but will push for the Terrence Crawford fight. But it's because Terrence Crawford is Terrence Crawford. Even though Terrence Crawford is 3 weights away from him, he's still Terrence Crawford, right? He's the Terrence Crawford that became famous for beating Errol Spence. So it's a different story. Casuals don't really care about weight. They just care about names. And to them, Terrence Crawford is a name. And Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is a big fight because those are 2 names that they are aware of, right? And they're fighting each other. Dustin 2 times, what's going on, brother? I absolutely watch Bare Knuckles. It's my favorite combat. Oh, so you watch Bare Knuckles boxing. Okay. So when there's like a pay-per-view or something, you watch that? You watch the pay-per-views? You don't just watch do they even have pay-per-views in Bare Knuckles fighting combat sport? Do they have that? I don't know. How is it free in the UK? Might have to use a VPN. Wow, that's crazy. Being a boxing fan is expensive, incredibly expensive. We pay, like, imagine if any other sport, you're chilling. If the most is like you're buying a league pass and then you're paying like $180 for the whole year. And then whenever your team is not playing, and that's only so that you can watch a team when they're at home and the games are not being televised. That's it. But whenever they're playing on a televised thing, or once it's the finals, you don't even need League Pass. You don't even need League Pass during the playoff. You don't need it. You only need it during the season. And it's still just $185 the whole year. As a boxing fan, every fight is like a League Pass. Basically, 2 fights is like 1 League Pass, right? 2 pay-per-view fights is 1 League Pass. Plus, you're paying for ESPN Plus. Plus, you're paying for DAZN. It is very expensive to be a boxing fan, and then don't get me on the tickets when you want to actually go to the events themselves. That's even more expensive than sports games as well, because sports games happen so many times. You can just pick a regular old game, go to it, and it ain't gonna be crazy. It ain't gonna be a crazy amount. A boxing fight, because it happens, once in a blue, the tickets tend to be insane. You think Davis is moving up or T.O. is moving down? Davis will be moving up. Davis already fought. He already fought at 140. When he fought against I forget the dude's name. Mario Barrios. When he fought against Mario Barrios, he fought at 140. So to me, it'll make more sense that he goes up to 140, especially T.O. just won a belt. There wouldn't be any sense for T.O. to come down, because T.O. is he couldn't even make the weight. He even stated that he couldn't make the weight at 135 anymore, so he was moving up to 140. He already has a belt and everything. He's good. I think him at 140 is good, and Tank could fight at 140. So if anything was to happen, it would be Tank moving up to Teal's division at 140, which is great because the narrative helps even more. There's not, Teal being drained. None of that stuff is happening. They're both like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to feel like it's a good challenge for Tank, because that's the thing with Tank. He's so famous that we as boxing fans have to feel that he's in some sort of danger of losing. That's the only reason that Floyd Mayweather was able to do his thing, because this dude was in some sort of, Floyd Mayweather was in some sort of danger of losing. Let's see. Loma's been quiet as of late. Yeah, he has, but we'll see. I mean, quiet is when fights get made. When we don't hear nobody talk, that's when fights get made. We're not hearing T.O. talk. We're not hearing Loma talk. And I think we only heard Tank say, "I'll be back next year." That's it, which is not much. Tank knocks out Loma. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a tough fight. It's definitely going to be a tough fight for him. That's an $85 fight. Yeah, 100%. Loma, Haney, 85 fight, not Regis. Loma and Haney, yeah, 100%. That makes sense. Yeah, good fighter, but he ain't a star like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exit out of that team's chat. I agree with your process of elimination. Lomachenko has been calling out Davis for years, and Floyd kept that from happening. I mean, we'll see. The thing with Tank, as I said before in my previous live streams, is that Tank doesn't really need a name to get good, decent pay-per-view numbers. But he does need a name, because there's only so much. You do have a ceiling that tops off if you're just doing knockouts, right? He's pretty popular just knocking no names out for the public. But if you add a name in there, like when they threw Ryan Garcia, granted, I understand Ryan Garcia wasn't a world champion. He wasn't, this world beater, crazy fighter, but he did do some decent stuff like beating Lucas Campbell, and Javier Fortuna. So he did his thing with decent fighters, but he was nowhere to the level of like a Teofimo Lopez, right, or a Lomachenko. So yeah, he was in there with a Ryan Garcia, and we saw what happened. People know Ryan and Tank, and they did over 1 million pay-per-view buys. If people know the other person he's fighting, and I mean know them, like more than just the diehard boxing fans or even the boxing fans, does it bleed over to the casual fans? If they know this person, I think he does a good amount of money. I think if he fights Teofimo Lopez, he'll do a good amount of money. They could get close or even past the 1 million mark if they fight against Teofimo Lopez. The Haney-Tank fight gets even bigger, or Tank versus Teo if Tank, the Haney-Tank fight gets even bigger, or Tank versus Teo if Tank only won who stops Loma. I mean, if Tank stops Loma, yeah, that thing goes gangbusters against Teo. Or Haney versus Tank gets even bigger, because they both is a common opponent, and Tank did much better, and there's the possibility for somebody's it's got to go kind of thing. So it makes a lot of sense. Hold up. We got Hugh the Dev in the house. What's good, Fanatico? Episode 62 of 1000. What's going on, brother? What's going on? Super excited for the fight this weekend. I'm rooting for Jamel, but really no way to call this one. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Nowhere to my prediction is that Canelo's going to win, but once again, my predictions are not tied to who I'm rooting for or who I'm not rooting for. They're just analysis predictions. A lot of people get that confused in boxing media, or not boxing media, and boxing content creation. They think that the person you picking that person because you like that person. That's not what we do in this channel. We don't pick people because we like them or because we dislike them. We just look, do an analysis, and we offer our prediction based off of that analysis. Not because I like Canelo more than Jermell, I like Jermell more than Canelo. I'm picking Canelo because that's what I'm seeing from what I've seen from both fighters. But thank you for being here, Hugh the Dev. Let me give you that member video. For Devin to fight Loma and Prograis in the same year is elite. I would say that is actually pretty legit. Prograis, although not famous with a lot of the casual fans, he's still a fighter to be a fighter to be reckoned with, right? He's regained his WBC title. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. So to have him fight with Devin in the same year that he fought Loma and then he became undisputed, he like, that's a lot of stuff. Devin Haney's doing a lot of stuff. Let's not forget, he became undisputed at 135 too. Even though, it was against one person, but he still became undisputed, and he was super young. He was a young, undisputed champion. Face of boxing just means lucrative, not the most skilled or accomplished, in my opinion. Yeah, that's how I see it. But a lot of people have debates over, hey, this guy can't be the face of boxing because who has he fought? And it's like, well, it's not so much about who he fought. It's about how many casual fans are going to tune into his fight. And I think right now, Tank is the person that the most casual fans will tune in for his fight. If Tank didn't have a dance partner and Canelo didn't have a dance partner, more people will watch the Tank fight than they would the Canelo fight, in my opinion. That's what I think. Face of boxing is most known, and Tank is becoming that dude. Yeah, your example is incorrect. Reason being, Canelo has an entire country on his back. Benavidez pulls the Latino crowd too. Latinos pay for the fights. So okay, Gus Frank. So you think that if Tank was to fight Lomachenko, that Tank versus Lomachenko wouldn't do more pay-per-view? We're talking about pay-per-view numbers. Remember, there's a whole different way that the Mexican fans in Mexico watch these pay-per-view fights. I don't think they're pay-per-view all the time for them. I'm talking about pay-per-view buys. Pay-per-view buy numbers normally come from the United States. How do you think that that's going to play out? Do you really think that Canelo versus Benavidez will pull more numbers? I don't know. You might be right, but when I look at it, I don't see that. I see Tank pulling more numbers. Tank versus Ryan Garcia did 1.2 million. I don't think Canelo could do 1.2 million right now against anybody. I don't think so. His last million that he crossed was against Gennady Golovkin. The first fight, he did $1 million. I don't see him doing more than 1.2 million. I really don't. And who did Tank fight? He fought Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia didn't have a whole country on his back. It wasn't that big. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal for Ryan Garcia. Was just famous on the internet. He had like a bunch of like YouTube viewers and stuff like that coming to see him fight against Tank Davis. And Tank is popular. He's just becoming, slowly but surely, he's becoming a celebrity. So we got Tank, a celebrity, Ryan Garcia, internet sensation, and then they end up fighting each other, and it did 1.2 million. That is very telling. And when Tank fights no names, quote unquote no names, he does around 270,000 pay-per-views. And I think when Canelo fought John Ryder, he did around 250,000 pay-per-views. So that was a no name for Canelo, and that was a no, and those were his last no name, which was it was Garcia, Hector Garcia, and he did around 270,000 pay-per-view buys. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Just looking at the data, it looks like he would do more numbers. Just looking at the data. Canelo versus Bud would dwarf any Tank fight. That I do agree with. That I do agree with. Canelo versus Bud would do it, because that's why I didn't use Bud as an example, because that's too big, right? That's so big, because that encapsulates the casuals, the hardcores. Everybody's excited, right? Every single person is excited. Tank versus Loma, the casuals are not as excited as the hardcore. Bud versus Canelo, the casuals are as excited as the hardcore. So that I do agree. If Canelo was to fight Bud Crawford, he's gonna do more money than he probably would cross the 1 million. He probably would cross the 1 million plus. Benavidez got 400K followers on Instagram. Tank has 6 million. Nobody knows Benavidez. It's not the same. It's definitely not the same. Canelo's still the top dog in boxing though. We're going to have to see what's the numbers that he does against Jermell Charlo. This is going to be an important Saturday for not just Showtime, but also for Canelo. Where is Canelo in the standings in terms of being the number one guy, right? In terms of being the number one marketable guy. Canelo versus Bud needs to happen for the good of boxing. Oh, yeah, that 100%. If Canelo wins, please, Canelo, give us that fight. He was talking like he wanted to give us that fight. He said, well, if Bud wants to fight me, he got to come all the way up and we could fight for undisputed. But as soon as Bud said, yeah, I'm going to do it, now he's like, well, I'm not going to get a lot of credit off of it. So I don't know. And Hugh Jakes, hold on. Let me give this a heart real quick. LOL, thanks for the member shout out on my non-member account. That's because that's what we do here. We let you know that we remember you guys. ASAP TV, King Juice, of course. I mean, me and King Juice go way back. You know what I'm saying? Adrian Dones, Hugh Jakes, Hashim 47, King of 47, and Jay Shep. Same. We go back to. I make sure that you guys know that I know who y'all are. Yeah, I know who y'all are. Now that you came with the member account, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's go. Not even 184 for the NBA. What? Not even 184? I remember when I used to purchase it back in the days, it was mad expensive. And I remember it being somewhere in the area of 184. Because when I first moved to Florida, I moved from the Bronx. And I was I'm still a crazy Knicks fan, but I was even more even crazier back then, where I watched every single game. And when you live in New York and when you live in the Bronx, you don't even need to use League Pass, because every home game and everything like that is all in. Any game that's not on a national station will be on like the MSG network, the state station or whatever. So you always got to watch it there. But once I moved, then I wanted to have the League Pass for that. And I remember it being somewhere north of 184 for the League Pass. So I don't know. I'm glad that it's lower. What's the price for League Pass now? They was probably, because that's when I think that's when League Pass just first started coming out. They probably got a good groove of what's the best price model for the League Pass, and they figured that out already. Fighting this weekend. Barrios. Yeah, he's fighting this weekend against, actually, it's a really good fight. Oh, I forgot. Is Thurman ever going to fight again? Yeah, Thurman. I mean, hopefully. I think Thurman's waiting in the wings to fight somebody like a Errol Spence or a Bud Crawford, but I don't know if he's gonna get fights like that. I definitely don't think he's gonna get the Bud Crawford fight, because it's looking like Bud Crawford just wants super mega fights. Barrios versus Ugas. Yeah, that's gonna be huge, man. That's gonna be a big fight. I can't wait for that. Loma doesn't sell as much as Benavidez. Benavidez versus Canelo is the fight every Mexican wants right now. No, I know that. But even if every Mexican wants this fight, I don't know how many pay-per-view buys it'll do. You get what I'm saying? There's a different connection to pay-per-view buys and how much the Mexican fans want to see a fight. I do know that a lot of Mexicans want to see it. But I believe that if Canelo fought with Bud, it would actually be more. Oh, and actually, I just realized this was a $5 super chat too. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Yeah, so I do understand that fight would do good. Loma does sell well. Loma is a big enough dance partner that if you get somebody that's popular and you put them against Loma, it could be magic. It could be magic. Loma on his own doesn't sell, but Loma with like a Tank, that would definitely sell. We're gonna get to see Tank's power, because if Tank could sell well against Teofimo, then Tank is pretty much the face of boxing, because Teofimo is, to me, shouldn't be as popular as Jermell Charlo. Teofimo should not be as popular as Jermell Charlo. But if Tank pulls numbers, then it's Tank. Tank is the guy that's pulling these numbers. He's going to be the common denominator. And he's probably getting a lot of momentum from getting 1.2 million with Ryan Garcia. So it's a big deal. It's a big, big, big deal. The last year was a price drop, but around $15 a month for about 5 months. $15 a month, that's not bad, man. $15 a month for 5 months, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's a really good deal for League Pass. It used to be a lot of money back then, man. It used to be a lot of money back then. But yeah, so the way that I'm seeing this fight go down, December 9th, by the way, Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis, December 9th. I'm actually happy that they finally announced it. I was wondering, when were they going to announce this fight? Because isn't this fight supposed to happen this year? Wasn't it set for November? It was set for November, but it looks like it got pushed out a little bit to December. But I'm hyped. I'm excited because I want to see Devin Haney. Even though I sometimes give Devin Haney flack for like the whole ducking Shakur Stevenson on the offer, right? By the way, did you guys see Frank Martin's response to Shakur Stevenson? Because Frank Martin went on and did an interview with I forget the name of that podcast. It was two ladies that were interviewing him. Kudos to them. I'm so sorry that I forgot the name of the podcast, but they interviewed him, and the dude, he didn't look like, he looked nervous. Like what he was saying, it looked nervous. He was reiterating stuff that he knew wasn't true. Like when people start doing stuff like that, to me, it's like they're grabbing straws, right? They're just grabbing at anything that they can to try to make sure that they are like have a defensive argument. But he was talking like, oh, if you just trying to give me $1 million, but you saying that you would have got $8 million against Devin Haney for 25%. So what does that mean? It's like, bro, come on, Frank Martin, you know that he wasn't getting $8 million for 25%. That mean what? $34 million? Devin Haney was getting $34 million. Come on, bro. You know that wasn't true. You know it wasn't true. Even if you want to say that it got to be true because somebody called in and the person, like he said that it was $8 million, even though it wasn't the main agent or manager of James. It wasn't James Prince. It was like James Prince's brother or something, and he was talking in a hypothetical. So people took that and ran with it, but it doesn't make mathematical sense because there's no way in the world that Devin Haney was going to be getting $34 million to fight Shakur Stevenson. Get out of here. There's no way. Where is that money? That money would come from nowhere. That money would not exist, right? Like they will be in the red after a fight like that. So Frank Martin reiterated that $8 million, and he's like, oh, why can't I get just a little bit more? It's like, bro, it also falls on deaf ears when you're saying, oh, you should just, like risk it. You know what I'm saying? Like take the risk. And now he was backtracking. He's like, oh, I said take the risk, but I meant when I said that, I'm saying like I'm just fighting for one belt. Sure, it's the WBC, but he was fighting for 4 belts, and that's like undisputed right away. It's like, nah, bro, you're backtracking. One belt is still, you've had no belts. You've had 0 belts. So one belt for $1 million when you've only made $250,000 before that, it doesn't make any sense. Now, if you made $1 million a bunch of times and you've made $2 million or all these different numbers that are much higher than 1 million, 1 million was literally your highest amount. It was literally your highest amount. and you don't bring anything to the table in terms of the actual marketing appeal of the fight, it'll be a Shakur Stevenson fight that he just happens to be fighting you, which is unfortunate, but that's how it would be. That's what would be happening. It'd just be a Shakur Stevenson fight where, hey, who's Shakur Stevenson fighting? Oh, this guy named Frank Martin. That's what the most of the fans are going to know that fight as. So you getting $1 million is actually phenomenal. Shakur Stevenson getting less than what he got paid for the last 3 fights, which wasn't $8 million, because Shakur even said, bro, if my 25% was $8 million, I would be like, let's do the fight. Let's do the fight. But he knows that he knows that that's not what it was. He knew the numbers. He put everything together. He knows that that's not what it was. So Frank Martin, I don't know, man. Frank Martin, he looked like he was a little bit weird. He was a little bit weird in that interview. It didn't look like he looked uncomfortable. He looked like he was reiterating stuff that everyone knew wasn't true anymore, that already got debunked. Just on the mathematics, it got debunked. Even if you don't want to believe Shakur, on the mathematics, you have to know that $8 million for 25% is just a ridiculous number. Because then on the flip side, you got to think of the rest of the money. You got to think of the 75% of the lion's share is going to be $34 million in Devin Haney. It just doesn't make sense on its face value. All right, hold on. Last year, price was around. They said Prograis was the best guy at 140. Devin, don't take tune-ups. Yeah, well, he's not the best guy at 140. The best guy at 140, has he been established at 140? Yeah, but he's not the best guy at 140. The best guy at 140 is 100% Teofimo Lopez, right? Because Teofimo Lopez beat Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor, don't forget, beat Regis Prograis. So in my opinion, beating an undefeated Josh Taylor is way more lucrative for your positioning in terms of 140 than just being Regis Prograis, who had to win back his WBC belt. He's not. Is he a tune-up? No, he's not a tune-up. So I definitely give that to Devin. He's fighting Regis. It's going to be somewhat of a tougher fight than if he was just a fight, because there's other people that have belts. It would have been an easier path. Heck, Rolly Romero, I believe, has a belt at 140. He could have fought Rolly Romero, but he was like, nah, I'm going to fight Regis. I think that that's an honorable thing to do, in the sense that if you got to pick somebody and it ain't Teofimo, Regis is the next best thing. And it ain't a tune-up. So if he fights Regis and beats Regis, and whatever happens between Tank and Teofimo, if that happens, if they don't fight or whatever, the next fight he should be looking towards fighting Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion. That's the head honcho at 147. And then once he does that, just go through the process, fight Rolly. You might get decent views because Rolly's just funny like that. And then fight that fourth guy. I don't even know his name. I forget. I've seen him. I've seen the name, but I forget, because that's definitely not going to sell. And that better not be on pay-per-view, Devin Haney, if you go for undisputed at 140. All Frank Martin did was admit he was pocket watching, but props to him, because he knew that million had an L attached to it. Yeah, because sometimes fighters sell their O's, right? For example, I believe that Kell Brooks sold his O to Gennady Golovkin, right? Sometimes you just sell it. You just go, okay, how much are y'all offering me? All right, I'll sell you my O, right? And you go out there and you try your best, but you know it's not gonna, the outcome is not gonna be in your favor, but you're gonna try your hardest to win. But you know that you're gonna lose. So then you want to get paid to give up that O, because what you're thinking about is not just that fight. You're thinking about your career moving forward and how much money. Because if you're only making $250,000 right now, you fight for $1 million and then you lose. Then you never face Shakur again, and then you go out back into the wild. How much are you going to be making, now that you're not undefeated? Now that you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of different elements to it that some of these fighters have to think about. Is it worth it? You need to, you know what I'm saying? You can still become a really good journeyman, but sometimes people are scared. They don't know it's the unknown. They're the fear of the unknown. They've never been defeated and had to navigate their career defeated. So the fear of the unknown puts them in a position where they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. And then they get scared. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't see Frank Martin fighting Shakur Stevenson at all because, if he didn't take the $1 million, Shakur's not going to give him a 50-50 split, right? He's not going to give him a 50-50 split. So it is what it is. But from watching that interview, in my opinion, he just seemed scared. He seemed not scared, but he seemed nervous, right? Like he was kind of out of character. He's normally a really calm, really reserved kind of person. And then in that interview, he was just like going crazy, going bonkers, almost like he was trying to clap back at Shakur Stevenson. But he was using like talking points that everyone knew wasn't real, which made me really raise my eyebrow. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You know the $8 million is fake. So I don't know. It's like he just was trying to say whatever he can to get himself out of that situation because he knew doing that interview that they were going to ask him those questions. Yeah, Shakur is the boogeyman of the lower weights and probably just boxing in general. I do believe that Shakur is the overall boogeyman of boxing. He's the overall boxing boogeyman, where he's the most avoided fighter in boxing, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's more avoided than Shakur Stevenson, to be honest. Anyways, we just landed on 8 o'clock, so the show is over. 8 p.m. Eastern time from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We had an amazing show talking about the Devin Haney fight and, of course, other things that are happening around in boxing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all the super chats that we got. Really appreciate that. Hugh Jakes, Adrian Dones, Jay Shep. We really appreciate all of the love from you guys. Of course, as always, we're always live every Mondays, every Wednesdays, every Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time when we talk boxing. Make sure to hit the like on your way out. People still watch these videos on video on demand. Make sure to hit that like on your way out, please. And also hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit all notifications. So as soon as we go live, and also sometimes we put out videos on boxing news, as soon as we go live or you see or a video goes up, you guys get that sent to you directly, the notification directly to watch, to show up right when we start. All right. Until the next one, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on Friday. Peace out, guys.